I was reborn. Reborn 2 months before the apocalypse descended. The moment I fell off the bed, the intense pain made me realize that nightmare was real. I clearly remember every detail. At 10 a.m. on August 1st, the sky suddenly darkened, torrential rain poured down, and the temperature plummeted below zero within an hour. Freezing rain fell for 5 straight days, and the ground formed a 2-meter thick layer of ice. Even worse, the rain was highly toxic. Touching the skin felt like needles pricking, and being drenched for a few minutes meant certain death. All water sources were contaminated, and power and communications completely collapsed. On the 16th day of the apocalypse, the people I trusted most turned on me. My brother-in-law Lu Hua wrapped his arms around my waist from behind. My wife's sister's husband Zhua Onbing grabbed my throat. And my wife, Lu Yue, personally tied me to a chair. With no electricity and no fire, they sliced off my flesh piece by piece and ate it raw. That pain sank into my bones. Before I died, Lu Yue looked at me with mocking eyes and told me a cruel truth. The 2 sons I had raised for 5 years were not my blood, but Deputy District Chief Yang Hong of Jianghui districts. My eyes widened, and I died with hatred in my heart. But heaven gave me a second chance. I jerked upright and slapped myself hard across the face. Wake up, you stupid simp. In my previous life, I slaved like an ox and horse for the Lu family. I handed over my entire monthly salary of 30,000, keeping only 150 yuan a month for living expenses. I bought groceries, cooked, did laundry, and mopped the floor. I handled all the housework alone. And what was the result? I was cheated on, and all the money I earned was squandered by the Lu family. In this life, I'll make every one of you wish you were dead. I gnashed my teeth in hatred. But it can't be now. Right now it's a society ruled by law. I have to wait. Wait until the apocalypse arrives, then settle every score one by one. There are still 2 months until the apocalypse, and I must stockpile enough supplies and build an absolutely secure shelter. This requires money, a lot of money. Then I suddenly remembered, in my previous life, tomorrow night, someone at the jade gambling market spent 3.5 million on an unwanted rough stone, and when it was cut open, it contained top-grade glass-type jadeite worth more than 300 million. That rough stone should still be there today. I acted immediately. First, I went to my workplace and borrowed 1 million from my junior apprentice Jiang Yao. Her father was a businessman with a fortune exceeding 1 billion, and without a word she transferred it to me. Then I borrowed 2 million from a loan company and scraped together 1 million through online loans. When I rushed to Yunhai Jade Gambling Workshop, I spotted that rough stone in the corner at a glance. I got it for 3.6 million. The onlookers were all laughing. This blockhead is definitely going to lose big. As the stone cutter peeled it away layer by layer, I was so nervous I could barely stand it. Suddenly, his hand trembled, and he cried out in shock, "Top-grade glass-type jadeite. 3.2 kilograms. The whole place erupted. Several dealers competed to bid, and in the end it sold for 280 million. After paying taxes, I walked out of the gambling workshop with 220 million in my pocket. Next, I went to the Civil Affairs Bureau. Lu Yue stood at the entrance in a red dress, still wearing that pure and innocent look. She actually tried to take my arm. "Su Qiao, divorce is no small matter. Let's go back and talk it over again." I shook off her hand, disgusted by how dirty it felt. "I don't want any property. The children have nothing to do with me. I don't want custody, and I won't pay child support either." The clerk handling our case urged us to calm down, and I directly stated that neither of the 2 children was mine. His eyes instantly filled with sympathy when he looked at me, and without another word, he finished the paperwork. Lu Yue chased after me, watching my departing back with a cold look in her eyes. She pulled out her phone and called Yang Hong. "Brother Yang, Su Qiao knows about us. He just divorced me. I found a 5-star hotel and booked the presidential suite. Ordered 10,000 yuan worth of dishes and feasted." Lying on the spacious bed, I recalled my previous life and couldn't help but smile bitterly. When I was little, my family was poor, and my parents worked everywhere to support my schooling. Before they could enjoy even a single day of happiness, they passed away one after another. I got into Tongji University, worked part-time to finish my studies, and entered a state-owned enterprise. I handed all my income to my wife, determined to be a good man. My belief was one person for life, faithful forever. But on our wedding night, the red on the bedsheet was red ink. To hell with one person for life. In this life, I will live only for myself. At 1 in the afternoon, the stock market opened. I clearly remembered all the Qinext stocks that hit the daily limit in the 2 months before the apocalypse. Qinext has a 20% daily price limit, so a principal of 100 million could double in 4 days. I plan to invest 150 million and turn it into 8 billion within 50 days. After using the remaining 70 million to pay off debts, all of it would go towards stockpiling supplies in the early stage. The seeds of revenge had already been planted. Now all that remained was to wait for the apocalypse to arrive. At the same time, inside a certain hidden clubhouse, Lu Yue was lying in the arms of a pot-bellied middle-aged man. This man was none other than Deputy District Chief Yang Hong. "Brother Yang, Su Qiao won't expose our affair, will he?" she asked anxiously. Yang Hong gave a disdainful snort. "He wouldn't dare, even if you gave him the guts. A mere clerk fighting me, a deputy department-level official. Isn't that courting death? But I'm still uneasy inside, so we can't leave any hidden trouble." A trace of ruthlessness flashed through Yang Hong's eyes. "Don't worry. I have my own arrangements. I guarantee he won't pose any threat to us." 6 years ago, Lu Yue graduated from college and passed the exam to become a teacher at a key middle school. At the time, Yang Hong, then director of the Education Bureau, came to the school for an inspection. Seeing that she looked pure and sweet, he specifically named her to accompany him at the meal. The two quickly got involved. Not long after, Lu Yue became pregnant. To cover it up, Yang Hong had someone introduce Su Qiao, who had just joined a state-owned enterprise, to her. Over the past 6 years, Yang Hong rose from Education Bureau Director to Deputy District Chief, and Lu Yue was also promoted from an ordinary teacher to principal's assistant and a section chief-level cadre. Now all of this has been shattered by me. Lu Yue's gaze gradually turned cold. "Su Qiao, since you refuse to be a well-behaved, obedient dog and insist on breaking this family apart, and since you know things you shouldn't know, then just wait for District Chief Yang's thunderous wrath." Su Qiao set an alarm and woke up right on time at 12:55. He opened the stock trading app on his phone and first checked the trends of the dozens of stocks he remembered, and they were exactly the same as in his previous life. Very good. Why did he choose dozens of stocks instead of just one? Because the capital was too large. If he used the entire 150 million to buy just one stock, it would inevitably alert the major holders, who would then shake out the market and possibly change the stock's trend. So he spread the 150 million across dozens of stocks that were about to hit their daily limit, buying a few million yuan of each. Compared to a stock with a market value of several billion, those few million were like tossing a small stone into a pond, causing only slight ripples. Without alerting the major holders, it took Su Qiao just over half an hour to finish buying the stocks. Then he closed the trading app and began studying the characteristics of his two supernatural abilities. He discovered that if he activated the dimensional space, then with a single thought, collect, he could store any items within 0.5 meters directly in front of him into the dimensional space. Then, with another thought, release, the items in the dimensional space could be placed however he wished. Of course, he could also choose selectively what to take in. For example, he could take only the quilt on the bed without taking the pillow. However, not all supplies could be stored. For example, things that were firmly fixed in place could not be taken in, such as a TV mount embedded securely in the wall. Also, the dimensional space had an invisible door. This door was a square, 6 meters in length and width. Most likely, items exceeding this size could not be taken in. Su Qiao poured himself another cup of boiled water at 70 or 80 degrees, stored it in the space for half an hour, and when he took it out, it was still at the original temperature, with no change at all. It seemed that this space would not alter any of the original properties of matter, such as shape and temperature. But living things could not maintain their original state. After buying the rough stones, Su Qiao planned to test the pocket dimension, so when he got to the street, he bought 2 white mice to use in the experiment. The first white mouse was taken out after being put inside for 5 minutes, and it was already stone dead. He refused to believe it, so he put the second one in and took it out in an instant. However, this poor little white mouse was already lying belly up, dead as dead could be. He thought to himself, "It seems that hiding in the pocket dimension to save my life when danger comes is not feasible. But I could put my enemies into the pocket dimension instead." As for the invisibility skill, while testing the pocket dimension, he also kept himself invisible for more than 1 hour at the same time without any problems. But as the invisibility time lengthened, he felt his physical condition growing weaker and weaker. Perhaps this invisibility space consumes a certain amount of energy. At that moment, he suddenly noticed at the edge of his sea of consciousness something like a display screen, on which there seemed to be 2 progress bars corresponding to the 2 abilities of the pocket dimension and invisibility. Both progress bars were at 1%. Among them, the pocket dimension showed a distance of 0.5 meters and a door area of 6 by 6 meters. Invisibility showed a duration of 2 hours, and it could only be used again after a 2-hour cooldown. However, being invisible for such a long time was enough for him to do some of the things he wanted to do. In addition, both skills were currently at 1% level. Could they continue to evolve later on? Would they eventually evolve to 100% or even more? But what conditions were needed for evolution? And what would the abilities be like after evolving? There were no hints at all on the display screen. Qiao scratched his head, having no clue, and decided to leave it alone for now. Stopping his research, he checked his bank account balance and found that he still had more than 70 million yuan. Having lots of money put him in a good mood. Qiao rolled out of bed and muttered to himself, "Let's go buy a villa and build a safe house." After a brief thought, he decided to buy a villa in Fenglin residential complex. Because his ex-wife's family lived in Fenglin residential complex. If he didn't buy here, when the apocalypse came, it would be too troublesome for him to get revenge. Qiao clearly remembered that. The freezing rain had continued until the day he was eaten by Lu Yue's family. As for what the weather was like afterward, that was beyond his knowledge. The freezing rain kept falling, and if it landed on your body, it would hurt to the bone like being pricked by needles, preventing everyone from going outside. If someone stood in the freezing rain for even just a few minutes, death would be certain. So unless someone wanted to commit suicide, no one would voluntarily leave the residential complex. But if they were in the same complex, movement through the underground garage was possible. When the time came, he would be able to go from the underground garage of his own safe house to his ex-wife's home for revenge. Lu Yue, Lu Hua, Zhuanbing, Lu Tianhai, Fan Zime, Lu Yuzhen, just you wait. The pain you caused me, Qiao, will definitely repay you double, and I will never go back on my word. Under the astonished gaze of the front desk, Qiao checked out of the presidential suite and took a taxi to a real estate agency in one of the street-facing storefronts of Fenglin residential complex. A young female agent of about 23 or 24 greeted him with a smile. "Sir, are you buying or renting?" "Both buying and renting." Qiao looked up at the electronic display board on the wall and said. When the female agent heard that it was actually 2 deals, her face lit up with joy, and she immediately perked up and began introducing the commercial apartments in each building. Qiao interrupted her introduction, pointed at the electronic display board, and said flatly, "I want Villa number 1 in Fenglin residential complex. Cash payment, but I need the keys handed over first today. Can that be done?" Hearing Qiao's words, the female agent was actually stunned for a moment. This was a 40 million yuan villa. It had been listed for a year or two without any buyers. Yet the man in front of her actually wanted to pay in full with cash in a single payment. Wasn't that just too lavish? Seeing that the female agent was still in a daze, Qiao frowned. It can be done, sir. I'll call the owner right away." The female agent said in a trembling, excited voice, pulling out her phone with shaking hands to call the owner's number. She was extremely excited and pressed the keys for quite a while before the call finally went through. What lucky day was this? She had actually run into an ultra-rich big shot, and the first thing he did was buy a 40 million yuan villa. Their agency manager's commission is 0.7%. From this single deal alone, she could earn 280,000 yuan. One deal like this would be enough for the whole year. After the call went through, the homeowner hurried over in just a little more than 10 minutes. Qiao didn't bargain with him either, saying he would buy it at the listed price, but the keys had to be handed over immediately. This made both the homeowner and the female agent absolutely overjoyed. The two of them kept nodding and bowing, thanking him repeatedly, and offering cigarettes over and over. The transaction contract procedures were completed in just half an hour. Qiao first paid a 5 million deposit, and the remaining 35 million would be paid in a lump sum after the ownership transfer was completed at the housing authority. The homeowner handed over the keys and left after expressing profuse thanks. Qiao also rented a house in Fenglin community through this female agent. The house was already decorated and ready to move into with just a suitcase. The lease term was half a year, and he paid the 60,000 yuan rent in one lump sum. The procedures were quickly completed, and the female agent earned another agency fee. She already regarded Qiao as a tycoon by now. At this moment, she rubbed her hands excitedly, her eyes shining, and looked at Qiao expectantly. "Mr. Su, do you happen to be free tonight? I'd like to treat you to a meal to thank you for taking such good care of my business." Qiao sized up the female agent. She was at least 165 tall, with a head of beautiful hair pinned up in a high bun. Her teeth were white, she had an oval face, and her features were quite regular. Her looks could be rated around 7.1 to 7.2 points. Overall, she could be considered a somewhat above-average beauty. The female agent's purpose in inviting him to dinner was self-evident, naturally wanting to get to know him more intimately and see if she had a chance to latch onto a tycoon. Unfortunately, Su Qiao wasn't in the mood right now. He still had many things to do. Although he really was quite pent up, and he and Lu Yue were intimate only about once every month or two, he still tactfully declined the female agent's invitation. The female agent personally drove him to the entrance of Villa Number 1. Seeing that the tycoon had no intention of inviting her inside, she finally left reluctantly. Su Qiao took the keys and entered Villa Number 1. After briefly looking over the house layout, he was very satisfied. There were only 2 months left until the apocalypse, and the top priority was to quickly renovate the house. The renovation had to be completed in about 50 days and its performance thoroughly tested. So he immediately searched online, found the highest-rated house renovation contractor, and dialed their number. Hello, this is Wu Zulong from Donghai Gold Metal House Reinforcement Company. A deep, resonant male voice came through. I need to reinforce a villa, and the construction period is only 50 days. Can you do it? Su Qiao said calmly. We can usually finish renovating a villa in 15 to 20 days. Absolutely no problem. Do you have any specific requirements? Manager Wu Zulong asked over the phone. Su Qiao raised his voice and said, very simple, it must be sturdy. The entire house, including the basement, must be fitted with 20-centimeter thick steel plates. The doors and the windows must also be replaced with liftable steel plates, plus a ventilation system to ensure that no harmful gases can enter the house, and then install a surveillance system to achieve 360-degree blind spot-free outdoor monitoring. After hearing Su Qiao's description, Wu Zulong, the renovation company manager, actually stayed silent on the phone for quite a while. And you're calling these requirements simple? 20-centimeter solid steel plates. Who exactly are you trying to defend against by building an iron turtle shell like this? Sir, your time requirement is too tight, and the price may be outrageously high. After pausing in a daze for a moment, Wu Zulong said probing. This was a big deal. Although it was difficult, the profit would be enormous, so he couldn't let it slip away. Money is not a problem, Su Qiao said flatly. All right then, may I ask where you are? I need to come over and discuss this with you in person. Wu Zulong's voice was urgent. Su Qiao gave him the address, hung up the phone, and waited for Manager Wu in the villa. It was already 5:40 in the evening. School had let out relatively early today, and Lu Yue returned home as soon as she got off work. The moment she entered, she heard her father, Lu Tianhai, slamming the table in the living room and flying into a rage. At this moment, he was shouting at the top of his lungs. What's going on? It's almost 6 o'clock. Why the hell hasn't that little bastard Su Qiao come back to cook yet? This morning he kicked Xiaohua, and I still haven't settled the score with him. Now he's actually slacking off. Looks like he really has some nerve today. Hurry up and call him and see where the hell he's died off to. Just as he finished cursing, he saw Lu Yue come in. Old man Lu, furious, said to her again, Yue, hurry up and call Su Qiao and tell him to get his ass back here immediately to cook. If he isn't home in 5 minutes. See if I don't go to his workplace and tear him apart. Old Mrs. Lu, Fan Zimei, was sitting on the sofa, holding Lu Yang with one hand and pulling Lu Hong with the other. And she also cursed. That dog of a servant Su Qiao has really gotten out of line. This morning Xiaohua just lightly scolded him, and he actually dared to fight back. After eating and drinking at our house for so many years, he actually still dares to throw a tantrum now. What an ungrateful wretch. If Su Qiao had heard Fan Zimei's words, he would have been furious. Who exactly is the ungrateful wretch? Fan Zimei didn't stop to think that over these past few years, Su Qiao handed over all his salary to her and worked like a slave serving their whole family. Ever since Su Qiao married into the Lu family, Fan Zimei had never cooked another meal. Even when Su Qiao was seriously ill, when he got COVID during the pandemic and was weak all over, he still had to grit his teeth and get up to cook for the whole family. Mom, Dad. At this moment, Lu Yue's older sister Lu Yuzhen also came home from work. Seeing that the table was completely empty, she grew annoyed for no reason and frowned in dissatisfaction. What's going on? Su Qiao's workplace is so close. Doesn't he get home every day at 5:10 to cook? Shouldn't we be eating by now? Why isn't the meal ready yet? Lu Yue's family lived in room 301, Unit 1, Building 13, Fenglin Residential Complex. Lu Yuzhen and her husband Zhuanbing lived in the same building and unit, but on the 6th floor. Lu Yuzhen and Zhuanbing didn't cook for themselves either. They always ate at Lu Yue's home, and in the past all the cooking was done by Su Qiao alone. Because brother-in-law Zhuanbing was the deputy director of the office of Jianghui District Government in Donghai City. He was already a deputy division-level official. The Lu family was obsessed with official status and all fawned over him. So Zhuanbing and his wife ate and drank at the Lu family's home for free and didn't have to do a thing. As for Su Qiao, After muddling along for 6 or 7 years, he was still just a clerk, so all the dirty and tiring work fell to him, and he got no credit for it. Second sister, hurry up and call Su Qiao and scold him back here. It's almost 6 p.m. and I'm starving. At this moment, Lu Hua also came out of the room, clutching his phone, and complained to Lu Yue. Lu Yue frowned, took the divorce certificate out of her bag and threw it onto the counter, and said weakly, Su Qiao and I are divorced. What? Divorced? The Lu family looked at one another, all stunned on the spot. It was Lu Yuhai who recovered first. As expected of the head of the family, he reacted quickly and immediately demanded, Xiaowei, are you stupid? Why did you divorce that bastard? Su Qiao may be useless, but he hands over more than 30,000 a month to our family. That's 300,000 to 400,000 a year. Divorce, divorce. I think you've lost your mind. Fan Zimei also angrily blamed Lu Yue. Xiaowei, what were you thinking? That good-for-nothing may be useless, but he's the one who does the grocery shopping, cooking, dishwashing, laundry, mopping, and childcare in this house. Now that you've divorced him, where are we going to find such an obedient servant? Second sister, have you lost your mind? Lu Hua also threw down his phone and rushed over to Lu Yue, roaring, that bastard even promised to save money to buy me a house, so I could get married. How could you let him go so easily? I won't allow you to divorce him. Xiaowei, oh Xiaowei, what am I supposed to say about you? Lu Yuzhen also poked her younger sister in the forehead and said in angry disappointment, everyone says that in our family. You're the smartest. And now you've even become the principal's assistant. If you divorce him, how are we supposed to settle this account? It's true that Su Qiao is a good-for-nothing, and being a country bumpkin means he can't present himself well, but he's a very useful servant. Tell us, why do you want to divorce him? After saying that, she crossed her arms, looking as if you didn't explain yourself, she would never let it go. It's not that I want to divorce him. He's the one who asked me for a divorce. How can you blame me? Seeing that the whole family was blaming her, Lu Yue also felt very wronged. She plopped down on the stool and said resentfully, this Su Qiao is too hateful. He's a damn useless piece of trash, and after divorcing me, he still stirred up my whole family, so we can't have a moment of peace. I absolutely won't let you off lightly. What right does he have to ask you for a divorce? What qualifications or standing does he have? A country bumpkin from the countryside ought to weigh his own worth. As soon as Lu Tianhai heard that it was Su Qiao who had taken the initiative to ask for a divorce, his anger flared up from nowhere. He felt that only the Lu family had the right to bring up divorcing this country bumpkin, and Su Qiao wasn't worthy of uttering the word divorce. I'm going to his workplace right now to find his boss. None of you stop me. Old man Lu sprang up from his chair as if about to charge out. He glanced around, and when no one stopped him, he sat back down awkwardly. He was just an ordinary commoner. How would he dare go looking for any leader? He was only putting on a show. Xiaowei, are you mute? What exactly is the reason that bastard wants to divorce you? Tell us, and then we'll have your brother-in-law help you vent this anger. Relying on the fact that she was the eldest and that her husband was a deputy division-level official, Lu Yuzhen questioned Lu Yue from a position of superiority. Su Qiao found out about my affair. Lu Yue lowered her head, somewhat not daring to meet her family's eyes. What affair of yours? Lu Yuzhen pressed. Lu Yue froze for a long while, her head lowered and face flushed, wanting to speak, but hesitating. Are you mute? Speak. Lu Tianhai also slapped the table and shouted. Su Qiao found out that Lu Yang and Lu Hong'en aren't his sons. Lu Yue still kept her head down and finally stammered it out. What? The Lu family was shocked once again. Hearing that Su Qiao and Lu Yue had divorced already shocked them, because over the course of a year, the family would lose at least 300,000 to 400,000 in income. Then hearing that the two sons Lu Yue had born were actually not Su Qiao's left them even more unable to process it. Then whose are they? Lu Tianhai's face was full of confusion. Deputy District Chief Yang Hong, of our Jianghui districts. After saying this, she no longer had any scruples. Lu Yue stroked the divorce certificate and looked contemptuously at Su Qiao's name. She thought to herself that Su Qiao was just a useless piece of trash and wasn't worthy of having her bear him sons. It took the whole family quite a while to digest this information. This time, Lu Yuzhen was the first to react. She was a minor section chief in the district forestry system, a deputy section-level cadre. And in addition, her husband was a deputy director of the district government office, so she was relatively well-informed about officialdom. At this moment, she said happily, "Isn't Yang Hong the number 2 figure in our Jianghui district? I heard there's a good chance he'll be promoted to district chief by the end of the year. This is a good thing." After saying that, she couldn't help squatting beside Lu Yue, taking her younger sister's hand, her face beaming with smiles. wearing a look of worshipful flattery. Lu Yue had really climbed up to a high branch. Originally, because of Su Qiao, she had also looked down on Lu Yue a bit. After all, her younger sister had married a useless man, a lowly clerk who couldn't even show his face in public. Meanwhile, her own husband was a deputy division-level cadre and was about to be promoted to full division level. But now that Lu Yue had attached herself to Yang Hong, who was about to be promoted to a full department-level cadre, her future was naturally bright. So she had to hurry and curry favor with her younger sister. And when Lu Yuhai heard that his younger daughter had actually latched onto a deputy department-level cadre, he immediately stood up excitedly. He slapped his thigh in excitement and said emotionally, "Xiaowei did the right thing. How could that loser Su Qiao be worthy of our Xiaowei? You should divorce him. Dad supports you." Fan Zimei was also extremely excited, repeatedly kissing each of her two grandsons on the cheek as if they were treasures. Damn it. So what if Lu Yang and Lu Hong aren't that little bastard Su Qiao's children? Su Qiao wants to divorce Xiaowei over this? That's fucking bizarre. A loser like him deserves to have sons of his own. At this moment, Lu Hua also picked up the phone from the sofa. Crossing his legs, his mood obviously much improved. He said gloatingly, "Second sister did the right thing. Forget the fact that the two sons aren't that loser Su Qiao's. Even if all three weren't his, so what? Divorce just because the children aren't his? He's way too petty, isn't he? Wasn't there a man online whose three children all weren't his? He still didn't kick his brother-in-law like Su Qiao did. Bah, Su Qiao deserves to be a cuckold." Seeing that the whole family was on her side, and that the way they looked at her was full of concern and even admiration, Lu Yue couldn't help but feel moved. She stood up, took Lu Yuzhen's hand, and said to everyone, "Dad, Mom, Sis, Xiaohua, today I am finally free. I've gotten rid of that loser Su Qiao. Tonight it's on me. Come on, let's go out to a restaurant for a big meal." The Lu family all responded in unison, as if they had encountered some tremendous joyous occasion. Even the usually lazy Lu Hua rarely took the initiative to pick up the 3-year-old Lu Hong in one arm, while leading 5-year-old Lu Yang with the other hand as he headed downstairs first. Because these were the children of the deputy district mayor, precious sons. The whole family crowded around Lu Yue like stars surrounding the moon as they walked out. Time rewound to 4:45 p.m. Donghai Golden Metal House Reinforcement Company's manager Wu Zulong hurried to Su Qiao's villa, Building 1, Fenglin Community. "Mr. Su." After entering the villa, the stout Wu Zulong grasped Su Qiao's large hand with both of his face full of apology as he said, "I'm really sorry, there was a bit of traffic on the way, so I'm a little late." It's fine. Su Qiao waved his hand and said with a smile, "I'll show you around the house first." Okay. Wu Zulong nodded respectfully. This was a major client. This single deal's profit was equivalent to what he earned in 2 years, so naturally he was exceptionally respectful. The two of them went from the basement up to the 3rd floor. After seeing the entire villa, Wu Zulong sat on the sofa, leaning forward, his smile restrained, and probed. "Mr. Su, the house has a total floor area of about 500 square meters. And if it's renovated according to your requirements, the workload will be enormous, and the schedule is very tight. I'm afraid the renovation cost will be as high as 130 million yuan." Even he felt somewhat embarrassed to say it aloud. This renovation cost could buy 3 more number 1 villas, with the renovation cost per square meter reaching 260,000 yuan. Money is not a problem. Su Qiao waved his hand and said calmly, "The key is that the quality and schedule must meet my requirements. Today I'll first pay a 10 million deposit, and starting next week, I'll pay you 40 million yuan every week." Su Qiao had calculated that the stocks he bought today were basically all ones that would hit the daily price limit for several consecutive days. By Friday, the funds in the stock market would rise from the current 150 million yuan to at least 290 million yuan. At that time, if he took out 50 million yuan, 40 million could be used to pay the progress payment for constructing the safe house, and another 10 million could continue to be used to procure supplies, ensuring that all work advanced in an orderly manner. "All right then, Mr. Su, how generous of you." Wu Zulong gave Su Qiao a thumbs up. "Let's sign the contract right away, what do you think?" "No problem." With the biggest matter settled, Su Qiao felt very much at ease. He transferred 10 million yuan on the spot to Wu Zulong's company account. 10 minutes later, they signed the contract and saw Wu Zulong off. Just then, the phone rang, and Su Qiao grabbed his cell phone from the coffee table. He saw it was his female apprentice, Jiang Yao, calling, and he pressed the answer button. "Hello, Xiaoyao. Brother Qiao, when are you coming?" "I'm already in private room 666 on the 2nd floor of Junlin Grand Hotel." Jiang Yao's pleasant voice came from the other end of the phone. "Okay, I'm done with things here and we'll head over right away. Go ahead and order first. Pick the best dishes. Don't try to save me money, Su Qiao quickly said. He scratched his head, having almost forgotten that he was supposed to treat Jiang Yao to dinner tonight. While waiting for Wu Zulong that afternoon, he had been thinking that he had made so much money today, all thanks to Jiang Yao's generous help. Tonight, he would first pay Jiang Yao back, give her another 1 million as interest, and then treat her to a lavish meal. On the phone, he told Jiang Yao to go straight to Junlin Grand Hotel after work, saying he would be there soon. He hadn't expected that once he got busy here, he would forget all about it. He quickly locked the villa's front door, left the residential complex, hailed a taxi, and headed for Junlin Grand Hotel. Private room 666 on the second floor of Junlin Grand Hotel. At this moment, Jiang Yao was standing in the private room, her pretty face flushed red with anger, as she shouted sternly, "I'm warning you. Get away right now." A young man of about 24 or 25 beside her was pestering her and demanding her WeChat. The young man was none other than Lu Hua, Su Qiao's former brother-in-law. As it turned out, Lu Yue had said tonight that divorcing Su Qiao meant she was finally free, so she wanted to treat the whole family to a big meal. They also happened to book a room at Junlin Grand Hotel, and their private room was directly opposite the one Jiang Yao had booked, room 777. When Jiang Yao returned to her private room after ordering, Lu Hua, who was sitting in room 777, spotted her. The moment this guy caught sight of Jiang Yao, his eyes lit up. He thought, damn, there actually exists such a stunning beauty in this world. In his mind, his two older sisters were already quite pretty, but compared with this young girl who had just entered the private room, they probably weren't even worthy of carrying this little beauty's shoes. That graceful figure, that fair jade-like skin, that flawless face, and that incredibly alluring bearing. She's exactly my type. He immediately stood up and chased after her to private room 666. Hello, beautiful, can I add you on WeChat? Lu Hua came right up with his phone in hand, leaning toward Jiang Yao with a lewd grin, even drool dripping out. Sorry, I don't add strangers on WeChat. Jiang Yao coldly refused. One look at this guy's sallow complexion, and she knew he had overindulged in sex. Although she herself was still pure and innocent, the internet was so developed these days that a lot of knowledge didn't require personal experience to understand. Seeing Jiang Yao refuse, Lu Hua stepped closer again and shamelessly said, "Let me tell you, my brother-in-law is Deputy District Chief Yang Hong of our Jianghui district, and he's about to be promoted to District Chief. Make friends with me, and there'll be plenty of benefits for you in the future. I don't care what District Chief Yang or District Chief Niu he is. If you don't leave right now, I'm calling the police." Seeing that this scoundrel was actually using a government official to pressure her, Jiang Yao became even angrier and sternly rebuked him. "Call the police? The police are under my brother-in-law's control too." Lu Hua wore a lascivious grin as he reached out to grab Jiang Yao. "Ah, get away. Hurry up and get away." Jiang Yao was so frightened that she kept backing away, afraid that this hooligan would come any closer. Just as she was trembling with fear, a tall man strode quickly into private room 666. The tall man saw a young man with his back to him tugging at Jiang Yao. The figure even looked somewhat familiar, and he was instantly filled with rage. The newcomer was none other than Su Qiao. Damn, how dare he bully my apprentice? He stepped forward and viciously kicked Lu Hua, sending him sprawling to the ground, and shouted angrily, "Who the hell are you? After knocking back a few liang of horse piss, you actually dare come here and act wild?" When Jiang Yao looked up and saw that Su Qiao had arrived, she hurried over and tightly grabbed Su Qiao's hand. Her voice was still trembling. "Brother Qiao, thank goodness you came. This guy was harassing me." Su Qiao patted Jiang Yao's little hand and comforted her. "Don't be afraid. I'm here." At this moment, Lu Hua, who had fallen flat on his face, got back up. When he turned around and saw that it was actually Su Qiao, his heart was filled with shock, anger, and humiliation. What shocked him was how he could run into Su Qiao in a place like this. Could this loser even be worthy of eating at Junlin Grand Hotel? And he was even here dining with this top-tier goddess. What angered him was that Su Qiao had kicked him once this morning, and now tonight he had kicked him again. And damn it, he had kicked him in the exact same spot on his butt. He really had some nerve. What humiliated him was that this cuckolded bastard Su Qiao actually dared to disregard him in front of the goddess he admired, curse him, and even kick him. And this was already the second time today. "You damn cuckolded bastard, how dare you hit me? I'm going to tell my brother-in-law right now and see how he deals with you." Lu Hua pointed at Su Qiao and cursed fiercely, though inwardly weak, but in the end he still didn't dare step forward and fight. He knew very well what he was capable of. After fooling around with too many women, His body had long since been drained. So fighting a tall man like Su Qiao would basically be seeking death. He might not be able to beat Su Qiao, but that didn't mean he couldn't outshout him. So he immediately brought up his brother-in-law. Only Su Qiao couldn't tell that the brother-in-law Lu Hua was talking about was not Lu Yuzhen's husband Zhuanbing, but his underground brother-in-law Yang Hong. Su Qiao smacked Lu Hua hard on the head and barked sternly, "Get out." Lu Hua winced in pain, clutching his head with both hands, bending over, and slunk out of the private room like a whipped cur. Seeing Lu Hua fleeing in panic with his head covered, and thinking of how in his previous life Lu Hua had sliced his flesh off bit by bit with a knife, Su Qiao wished he could stab him to death right now. But now was not the time. After all, the apocalypse had not yet arrived, and social order and the rule of law were still in place. If he killed any member of the Lu family now, he himself would have to pay with his life too, and that just wasn't worth it. Just wait for the apocalypse. When there is no food or water and people have to suffer the cold, then I'll deal with every one of you one by one. Su Qiao had just helped the still frightened Jiang Yao sit down, when another woman in red rushed into the private room. The woman in red was Su Qiao's ex-wife, Lu Yue. "Su Qiao, are you some rabid dog or what? Today you actually kicked Xiaohua twice. Do you think our Lu family is easy to bully?" As soon as she came in, she pointed at Su Qiao's nose and angrily cursed him. Just now, Lu Hua had run back and complained that Su Qiao had kicked him again. Even more infuriating was that Su Qiao was actually dining in the private room next door with a stunning beauty. The moment Lu Yue heard this, she flew into a rage. Without even asking why her younger brother had been beaten, she hurried over to confront Su Qiao, because she could not tolerate Su Qiao's behavior today in the slightest. For all these years, Su Qiao had been like a dog in the Lu family. If she told Su Qiao to go east, he went east. If she told him to go west, he went west. Anyone in the Lu family could order him around at will. Even the two little children, Lu Yang and Lu Hong, could loudly scold him. They could boss him around like riding on his neck playing horsey, yelling giddy up, giddy up. But when Su Qiao woke up this morning, he had changed. He was no longer an obedient dog slave, but dared to bite his masters, and that was absolutely unacceptable. Even if he had divorced her, that still wouldn't do. A slave is a slave, and can never lord it over the master. And how could Su Qiao find a woman prettier than her? Is a loser like him worthy? He only deserves to find an ugly, old, fat, disabled woman. It could be said that Su Qiao's unquestioning obedience to Lu Yue and the Lu family over the years had made Lu Yue completely lose herself. She couldn't stand to see Su Qiao doing even a little well. And besides, you just got divorced this morning, and by the afternoon you were already looking for a young, beautiful woman. Do you even have any humanity left? Doesn't your heart hurt? Lu Yue stomped her foot and shouted angrily. Her somewhat pretty face now looked especially ferocious. Hearing Lu Yue twist black into white like this and act so unreasonably, Su Qiao was so furious he laughed instead and shot back. "Heh, I've worked like an ox and a horse for your Lu family and waited on you for all these years. And you bitch, started betraying me even before we got married, fooling around with a married man, giving birth to bastards, making me the sucker who raised them, and now you still have the nerve to talk to me about fucking humanity and conscience. Why don't you ask yourself first whether you have any humanity or conscience? In my previous life, I really must have been blind as a dog to simp for her like that and treat her like a princess. And when the apocalypse came, every member of the Lu family turned into wolves and devoured me alive. The moment Lu Yue heard Su Qiao expose her affair in front of an outsider, she lost it. She slammed the table and shouted harshly. So what if I had 2 sons with another man? What's wrong with that? And you? You went looking for your next one right after the divorce. Tell me yourself, who's the one going too far? When Su Qiao heard this, he shook his head. I'm fucking speechless. So you actually think your adultery is justified? He was so angry that his eyes nearly rolled back. If it weren't for the fact that the apocalypse hadn't arrived yet, he would have wanted nothing more than to strangle this filthy bitch on the spot. Shaking his head, his lips purple with rage, he said bitterly, "Fine, you're something else. I fucking can't argue with you. Are you getting the hell out or not? If not, I'll upload the video of you and Yang Hong to the internet right now." When Lu Yue heard this, she froze for a moment, then quickly calmed down. What? How could Su Qiao have a video of me and brother Yang? Impossible. Every time Yang Hong and I met, we were so careful. Could it be that Su Qiao, that cuckolded bastard, had followed me before, and even recorded a video? But with this kind of thing, better to believe it than not. Since brother Yang had already agreed to step in and deal with Su Qiao, she still couldn't completely fall out with Su Qiao right now. in case he was driven to desperate measures. If there really was a video and it got posted online, it would have a huge impact on both Brother Yang and me. Thinking this, she pointed at Su Qiao and said viciously, "Su Qiao, you bastard, I have something to do today, so I'll let you off. But if you dare bully our Lu family again in the future, just you wait. You definitely won't get off easy." After saying that, she shot Jiang Yao a venomous glare, then stormed out of private room 666. Su Qiao pressed a hand to his chest. That bitch really had infuriated him just now. And he also said harshly, "Fuck, you filthy bitch, I definitely won't let you off either. A person can truly be invincible when they're shameless enough. I really must have been blind as a dog. How did I end up with such a freak in my previous life? And I loved her to the bone. Brother Qiao, have some water." Seeing Su Qiao's lips turning purple, Jiang Yao hurriedly handed him a cup of water. In her panic, she forgot that it was water she had already drunk from. Su Qiao took the tea and drank it in one gulp, looking very desolate. He sighed and said to Jiang Yao with a bitter smile, "Xiao Yao, I've made a fool of myself in front of you." Jiang Yao shook her head, her beautiful big eyes wide, and gently smoothed Su Qiao's tightly furrowed brow with her delicate hand. Holding his arm, she said softly, "Brother Qiao, don't be so formal with Xiao Yao. Our relationship is part teacher and student, part friends, part siblings. Why would I laugh at you? The truly laughable one is that bitch Lu Yue and her whole absurd family." Su Qiao felt a warmth in his heart and thought Jiang Yao treated him too well. He almost told her that the apocalypse was coming. But then his mind stirred again, and he held back and said nothing. After all, you can never truly know what's in someone's heart. Although Jiang Yao treated him extremely well, he could even sense that trace of affection in her eyes. But the emotional wounds from his past life had been too deep, and he no longer trusted any woman, or rather, anyone at all. Now, the only one he could trust was himself. He decided to shut away his feelings and become a hard-hearted person. Once he had built the safe house, stockpiled a large amount of supplies, and completed his revenge plan, if Jiang Yao could pass his test in the apocalypse, then perhaps she could truly become his woman. Jiang Yao was very sensible and brought up some cheerful topics to chat with Su Qiao about, and he gradually forgot the unpleasantness from earlier. Su Qiao also briefly told Jiang Yao about his jade trading today. He felt there was nothing about it that couldn't be said, and Jiang Yao wasn't a woman who gossiped. "Xiao Yao, if it weren't for the 1 million yuan you lent me, I wouldn't have made that much money either, so I'll give you 1 million yuan in interest. Don't be modest about it," Su Qiao said after taking a sip of tea. Sure enough, when Jiang Yao heard that Su Qiao had suddenly struck it rich, she was extremely happy, even happier than if she had earned 220 million yuan herself. So she didn't stand on ceremony with Su Qiao either, and looked at him playfully, her beautiful eyes flirtatious. "All right, if it's for master, then of course I'll take it. From now on, I'm going to mooch off a rich man often." After the two happily finished their meal, Su Qiao paid the bill and took Jiang Yao home. After that, he returned to his rented apartment, room 501, Unit 2, Building 21, Feng Lin Residential Complex. As soon as he entered, he saw that the apartment was indeed as clean and tidy as the female agent had said that afternoon, and the facilities were very complete. He was quite satisfied. After busying himself for a while, it was already 9 p.m. by the time he finished showering. Lying on the bed, he opened the stock trading app on his phone and checked his account. More than half of the stocks had hit their daily upper limit that very day, rising by 20%, and a small portion had also risen by nearly 10%. His capital of 150 million had already grown to 169 million yuan, for a net profit of 17 million yuan. Today was Monday, and the stocks he had chosen would basically hit their daily upper limit from Tuesday to Friday. By the close on Friday, his assets would rise to nearly 300 million yuan. And at that time, he could take out part of the funds to stockpile supplies. Su Qiao also paid off his online loans and high-interest loans. Although he repaid them early, he still paid the interest agreed upon at the time. The owner of the loan company was very pleased and said he would definitely invite Su Qiao out for drinks another day. After all, in just one day, the loan company owner had lent out 2 million yuan, got the principal back, and even earned 200,000 yuan in interest. How could he not be happy? Of course, he wanted to take this opportunity to curry favor with a premium big client like Su Qiao. Su Qiao naturally declined politely. "The damned apocalypse is almost here. How the hell would I be in the mood to drink with you?" Sitting on the bed, Su Qiao took out pen and paper from his bag and listed his recent plan for stockpiling supplies. After buying stocks and a villa and repaying loans and debts, he still had more than 27 million yuan left. The plan is to stock up on prepared foods first, because these have to be made fresh, so the lead time is very long. Prepared foods also won't spoil in the dimensional space. So could it be that when the apocalypse comes he'd still be cooking every day himself? He planned to wait until next Monday, when the stock funds would bring in tens of millions. First pay the 40 million yuan progress payment for the house renovation, and then stockpile other supplies in batches. Qiao was racking his brains over the supply checklist to make sure nothing was missed, when thumping sounds from upstairs kept ringing out, seriously disrupting his thinking. What was going on? Who's raising hell upstairs? He put down his pen and waited another 10 minutes. But the noise from upstairs still hadn't stopped. Qiao was already thinking things over and was getting extremely irritated by the vibrations. He thought, are you jumping around upstairs like you're trying to die, or what? Are you going to let me work or not? Qiao put on his pajamas and decided to go upstairs to remind the neighbor in room 601 not to make such loud noise. He went upstairs and knocked on the door. He knocked several times with no response, frowned, and knocked again. Then the door was yanked open. Before Qiao could speak, the male owner of the apartment barked fiercely. Who the hell are you? It's already 10 o'clock and you're still knocking on my damn door. Are you going to let people rest or not? The male owner of the apartment was named Mao Yuan, chubby, with a face full of flesh, and standing a full 178 tall. After cursing at Qiao, he glared at him with a pair of bull-like eyes, looking like he wanted to swallow the other person whole. Meanwhile, in the living room, a boy in a middle school uniform was holding a jump rope, turning to look toward the door with an equally vicious gaze. At this moment, a short-haired middle-aged woman under 1.6 meters tall also hurried over and pointed at Qiao as she shouted angrily, "Are you mentally ill or something? Why are you knocking on my door this late at night? Got nothing better to do?" Qiao was stunned inside. Damn, you've really left me speechless. This damn husband and wife are quite a pair of weirdos, aren't they? I originally came upstairs intending to politely remind you to keep it down. But instead these two gave me a show of force first, actually coming at me aggressively before I even said anything, and with an extremely bad attitude. If it were his previous life, Qiao's cautious personality might have been intimidated by these vicious people, and he would have obediently apologized, then let it go and gone home. But in this life, he'd already died once, so why would he be afraid of them? Standing at the door, he shouted angrily, "You're the ones who are damn crazy. I live downstairs in 501. What the hell are you doing jumping around upstairs in the middle of the night? Are you going to let me sleep or not? Don't you know this is disturbing the neighbors?" Seeing that this young man actually dared to argue at his doorstep, Mao Yuan demanded, "My son is taking the high school entrance exam. Isn't he just practicing jump rope at home? What's the big deal? Won't your kid take the high school entrance exam in the future? Why are you making such a fuss? Damn, so unreasonable. How could Qiao put up with that? What the hell does your son's high school entrance exam have to do with me?" He glared down at Mao Yuan and shouted, "Your kid is practicing jump rope for the high school entrance exam. Can't you go practice in the community square? Why do you have to jump at home, making the place downstairs go thump thump? So what if your son has the high school entrance exam? Does that give him the right to disturb the neighbors?" Seeing that Qiao had not been intimidated, Mao Yuan flew into a rage from embarrassment. He stepped forward and shoved Qiao, cursing nonstop. "You little bastard. Do you know how important the high school entrance exam is to my son? If you affect his jump rope practice and he can't get a high score, are you going to take responsibility?" Smack. Seeing that this fat man was being utterly unreasonable, cursing and shoving people, Qiao knew he really couldn't let it slide. He swung his hand and slapped him hard, sending Mao Yuan staggering back into the apartment, and cursed angrily, "You bastard. Who the hell are you cursing at? Do you believe I'll beat you to death?" Mao Yuan fell to the ground, blood seeping from the corner of his mouth. He had never expected that the young man in front of him would actually dare to hit someone, and with such great strength. When the hostess Wang Mei saw her husband knocked down by the visitor, she ran to the kitchen, grabbed a kitchen knife, and slashed at Qiao, cursing viciously, "Damn it. You actually dare come to my home and assault us. I'll fight you to the death." Seeing the kitchen knife coming at him, Qiao slightly turned aside to dodge it, then shot out his left hand and grabbed Wang Mei's wrist, giving it a light squeeze. Wang Mei's hand was squeezed so hard it throbbed with pain, and she let out shrieks like a pig being slaughtered, while the knife fell from her hand. Qiao reached out with his right hand to catch the kitchen knife, gestured with it in front of Wang Mei's face, and said, "Just the two of you think you can fight me? You really don't know your own limits." With that, he casually gave her a shove and pushed Wang Mei to the ground as well. After being reborn, Qiao not only possessed supernatural abilities, but his physical fitness had also improved a great deal. Now he felt as if he had endless strength, and his body's agility had also increased quite a bit. So just now, he hadn't even felt like he used much force. Yet a single slap had sent the big fat man Mao Yuan flying, and he had almost instinctively dodged Wang Mei's chop, then smoothly snatched away her kitchen knife. Mao Yuan and his wife lay on the ground glaring furiously at Su Qiao, but seeing the gleaming kitchen knife in his hand, they no longer dared to hurl insults at him. If this young man acted on impulse, he really might kill them. Meanwhile, the middle school student who had been practicing jump rope earlier had now retreated to the doorway of his room, biting his lip and staring venomously at Su Qiao, not daring to make a sound. Su Qiao tossed the kitchen knife aside, and it hit the ground with a clang. Pointing at the couple, he said, "If you dare make a racket upstairs again, don't blame me for not holding back. I'll beat you every time I see you." As he walked out the door, he turned back and glared at the three people inside once more. In particular, he gave the middle school student a meaningful look, then raised a hand and made a throat-slitting gesture before slamming the door behind him as he left. Seeing blood at the corner of Mao Yuan's mouth, Wang Mei helped him up and said angrily, "Honey, let's call the police. This brat actually dared to break into our home and hurt people. Let the police arrest him." "Call the police? Call the police for what? I already told you before, don't let the kid practice jump rope at home, but you just wouldn't listen." Mao Yuan wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and made his way to the sofa to sit down. He really had tried to persuade Wang Mei, but Wang Mei had always thought that since they were jumping rope in their own home, who would dare do anything to them? When Su Qiao knocked on the door just now, it was also she who had egged Mao Yuan on to first give Su Qiao a show of strength, thinking it might intimidate him. Are we just going to let it go like this? Let that bastard bully us for nothing? Wang Mei was somewhat contemptuous of her husband's cowardice. Mao Yuan glared at his wife. "Just calm down, will you? Didn't you see the way that man looked at Xiaohang and the gesture he made with his hand when he left just now?" He made a throat-slitting gesture at his wife, then continued in a low voice. "If we become mortal enemies with him, he might really do something very bad to Xiaohang." Wang Mei was startled. She covered her mouth with both hands, cold sweat streaming down her face, and no longer dared mention calling the police. Su Qiao returned to the rental apartment. After waiting a while, there was indeed no more noise from upstairs. He chuckled. "Good people get bullied, and good horses get ridden. In this life, I won't bully others, but if anyone bullies me, sorry, I'll pay them back double." The night passed without incident. Early the next morning, Su Qiao went to Villa Number 1. Wu Zulong was very efficient. Last night, he had already organized people overnight to draw up a structural reinforcement plan for the house. In the morning, he led dozens more people to the villa and brought over several truckloads of materials. At the site, Su Qiao also communicated with Wu Zulong about some details. At this moment, at the Liu family home, "Sis, your family bought a big villa. How could you not tell me about something this huge? When did you strike it rich?" Old lady Liu, Fan Zimei, received a call from her younger sister, Fan Xilan. At this moment, she was at home holding her young grandson Liu Hong, kissing him from side to side and teasing the little fellow until he giggled. Ever since learning that her two grandsons were both Yang Hong, the deputy district chief's sons, she had doted on the two children to no end, feeling that they were precious sons destined for greatness. Maybe they could even become high-ranking officials in the future. But before, when she thought the two children were that loser Su Qiao's, she avoided taking care of the children whenever she could. If it wasn't back pain today, it was a headache tomorrow. Whenever Su Qiao was at home, she definitely would not touch the two children. When Su Qiao wasn't home, she had no choice but to look after them a bit. After all, Su Qiao handed over his monthly salary of more than 30,000 to her. Bought a big villa? No. Fan Zimei put down Liu Hong and seriously talked with her younger sister on the phone. On the other end, Fan Xilan looked puzzled. "Didn't the villa in building number 1 of our neighborhood get bought by your Su Qiao? I heard it cost 40 million yuan, and renovation started early this morning. Don't tell me you don't know about this?" She and her older sister Fan Zimei both lived in Fenglin community and usually liked doing square dancing. After dancing with those old men and women in the morning, she heard the news that Su Qiao had bought a big villa while shopping for groceries at the market. By now, the whole neighborhood was talking about it, and she was extremely shocked. Wasn't that Su Qiao the son-in-law of her own elder sister's family? Good grief, spending 40 million on a villa? How did her sister's family suddenly get so rich? As she talked, she boasted to those old men and women that Su Qiao was her grandniece-in-law and how respectful he was to her. She also said how well she treated Su Qiao, as if she regarded him like her own son. At the same time, she was thinking about hurrying back to confirm it with her sister Fan Zimei. If it really was Su Qiao who bought the 40 million yuan villa, and the decoration would cost several $100,000 to over $1 million. That would mean he had truly made it big. She had to hurry and curry favor with him. If that much money leaked just a little her way, she could still get her hands on hundreds of thousands or even $1 million or more. On the road, when no one was paying attention, she even lightly slapped herself once. She really had looked down on people with dog eyes, regretting what she had done before. Seeing that her sister's family didn't treat Qiao like a human being, she had joined in stepping on him many times. She hoped Qiao wouldn't hold a grudge. But first, she had to see whether this news was true before making any plans. So after getting home, she immediately called Fan Zimei. Isn't that loser already divorced from Xiaowei? Oh, you mean Qiao? Fan Zimei was stunned by Fan Xiaolan's words. She had just blurted out that Qiao had already divorced Lu Yue. When she suddenly reacted, if this news was true, then the divorce couldn't happen, and they had to remarry as soon as possible. Yes, you're Qiao. Is it true or not? Fan Xiaolan urged over the phone. Yes. Xiaolan, I still have something to do. I'll call you back later. Fan Zimei hurriedly hung up the phone. After putting down her phone, her heart was pounding. This was a huge matter. No, I have to hurry and confirm it first. She muttered to herself, then hurried out carrying her young grandson Lu Hong. Carrying her grandson, Fan Zimei walked into the elevator and ran into several old men and women from upstairs. When they saw her enter the elevator, flattering smiles quickly appeared on their faces, and they all began complimenting her. Sister Fan, I couldn't tell. You were really hiding your light under a bushel. You actually spent 40 million to buy such a huge villa. A plump middle-aged aunt said with a smile as she held Lu Hong's little hand, her wrinkled face splitting into a chrysanthemum-like grin. Old Fan, your Qiao is really something. I heard that last night at the agency. He transferred 5 million to the landlord without even blinking. And there's another 35 million to be transferred once the house title is transferred. How is your family so rich? Where did Qiao make such a fortune? Have him help us get rich too. A tall, skinny old man asked with a fawning look on his face. Little Fan, now that you've made it big, you can't forget us old sisters. An old lady with graying hair looked at her eagerly, as if she wished Fan Zimei could hand her tens of thousands right there on the spot. As soon as Fan Zimei heard this, with everyone saying the same thing, the news had to be true. She lifted her chin, her eyes somewhat arrogant. Sigh, that useless dot. She was used to it. Whenever she spoke of Qiao outside, she would always attach the word useless. However, Fan Zimei quickly came to her senses and hurriedly changed her tune. I'm taking my little grandson to see the new villa right now. Qiao is waiting for me there. Let's talk another day. After saying that, she hugged her grandson and jogged toward the villa. Those neighbors wore looks of envy, jealousy, and resentment. They thought to themselves that not a single member of the Lu family was any good. They were usually very harsh to the live-in son-in-law. Yet Qiao, who knows where he got such great ability, repaid evil with kindness and even bought the Lu family a big villa. Heaven truly has no eyes. Some of the older men and women whose daughters were still unmarried even started entertaining the idea of having their daughters approach Qiao on their own and egg him on to divorce. Then he could marry into their family, and that way they too could move into that big villa. That villa was more than 500 square meters, while their own pigeonhole homes were only 60 or 70 square meters. Half walking, half running, Fan Zimei quickly arrived at Villa number 1, only to see quite a few neighbors gathered around it as well. She immediately shoved through the crowd and barged into the villa. The neighboring onlookers again cast envious looks at her and showered her with flattering words, making her feel even more lofty and unassailable. She saw Qiao there directing the craftsmen to take measurements, so she set little Lu Hong down and immediately went over and shoved those workers. Raising her voice, she said, "Stop. This is my villa. How it's decorated should follow my arrangements." Then she pointed at Qiao's head and angrily berated him. I say, Qiao, you've really gotten bold. Such a major matter as decorating the villa. How could you make the decision on your own without consulting me at all? She was used to bossing Qiao around. In her previous life, she had never given Qiao any face in front of outsiders, scolding him whenever she wanted and yelling at him whenever she pleased. Qiao had a good temper and always thought she was an elder, his wife's mother. So he only kept yielding, which further fed her overbearing personality. Who would have thought that after being reborn, she would still be like this? Looking at the suddenly appearing Fan Zimei, Qiao was stunned. How could he have expected this old bitch to suddenly barge into his villa and start pointing fingers here? Fan Zimei, what nonsense are you spouting here for? Since when did this become your villa? He glared at Fan Zimei and said angrily, seeing that Qiao actually called her by name, and in front of so many neighbors, Fan Zime felt somewhat unaccustomed. After all, just a few days ago, when he saw her, he was still as timid and cowering as a chick before an eagle. Even if you and Xiao Wei are divorced, so what if you're divorced? Does that mean you can ride roughshod over me? Humph, you uneducated son of a bitch. How dare you call me by my name? Fan Zime cursed, stamping her feet. Didn't you buy this villa with our family's money? How could a mere office clerk like you have the money to buy such a big villa? Su Qiao was so furious he laughed instead, feeling that this old bitch was being utterly unreasonable. Fine, so that's how you want to play it, huh? I'm game. So he loudly revealed the fact that he had already divorced Lu Yue. Heh, I fucking divorced Lu Yue yesterday morning. And I bought this villa yesterday afternoon. How was it bought with your family's money? Fan Zime, do you have no fucking shame? Who says you divorced Xiao Wei? Weren't you always a live-in son-in-law of our family? How could I not know if you and Xiao Wei got divorced? Come on, come home with me and let's talk. After saying that, Fan Zime reached out to grab Su Qiao's hand. This involved assets worth more than 40 million, so she had to find out where the money came from. And the Lu family absolutely had to get this villa too. There are too many people here right now. It's not very convenient. At this moment, she absolutely could not admit that her daughter had divorced the loser in front of her. However, the onlookers outside had all heard Su Qiao's words. They all started talking among themselves. Huh. Su Qiao divorced Lu Yue yesterday morning, so the property must have already been divided. A house bought yesterday afternoon definitely couldn't still belong to the Lu family. I wonder why he divorced Lu Yue. If he bought it after the divorce, then the Lu family really suffered a huge loss. This is a 40 million villa, something our families couldn't earn in several lifetimes. Sigh, if the house was bought after the divorce, then it really doesn't count as marital property. Fan Zime coming here now to fight over the villa really is rather shameless. Yeah, when someone is shameless enough, they're invincible. I don't think there's a single decent person in the Lu family. They don't deserve to live in such a big villa. Everyone outside was pointing and whispering. And the people who had just been flattering Fan Zime also started mocking her and gloating. Seeing that Su Qiao was divorced, even more people began to get ideas. My daughter is 32 this year. Although she's been in a few relationships, she's still single after all. I'd better hurry back and talk to her, tell her to go find Su Qiao. If we're late, it'll be too late. My daughter just got divorced, and she doesn't have any children with her ex-husband. Su Qiao and my daughter are both divorced, so neither should look down on the other. They're quite well matched. Among them were a few whose daughters were really too ugly, but that didn't stop them from dreaming. Quite a few people were thinking like this. However, Su Qiao couldn't hear what was in their hearts. If he knew, he'd probably not know whether to laugh or cry. Since when did I become such a hot commodity? Seeing Fan Zime acting shamelessly and refusing to admit that her daughter had divorced him, he pulled the divorce certificate out of his pocket and held it up in his hand, saying loudly, Fan Zime, stop playing dumb here. I've slaved like an ox and a horse for your Lu family for so many years, handing over my entire salary to your family, and you never once said a single good word about me. What's even more infuriating is that bitch Lu Yue started cheating on me back when she was dating me. She cuckolded me for 6 years, and the children she gave birth to, Lu Yang and Lu Hong, are fucking bastards. So don't fucking pretend you don't know. Su Qiao first pulled out the divorce certificate, then said this whole string of things. The amount of information was just too huge, too worldview shattering. The neighbors were once again shocked. What a bombshell. Not even TV dramas would dare write it like this, right? Who would have thought that Lu Yue, who usually looked so innocent, could actually do something so shameless? How did a mother like Fan Zime even raise her daughter? And she had the nerve to call Su Qiao uncultured just now. So everyone outside started commenting again. Married, yet she gave birth to another man's children, and even had 2 of them. She's worse than an animal. Is this even human? Having bastards with another man, Su Qiao is way too pitiful. Isn't this bullying an honest man? No wonder I thought the Lu family's 2 grandsons, Lu Yang and Lu Hong, didn't look anything like Su Qiao. So they were bastards she had with another man. A bitch like Lu Yue should be drowned in a pig cage. Fan Zime should be drowned in a pig cage too. Someone said indignantly, if my daughter-in-law were like this, I'd chop her to death with 1 slash. Damn it. Counting on her to carry on the family line. And it turns out she was having children for some random bastard. Don't talk nonsense. When Fan Zime saw Su Qiao take out the divorce certificate and then reveal the truth, she became a little flustered. Her face turned red, then pale, but she still argued irrationally. Our Xiao Wei is not that kind of person. I'm going to sue you for slander, sue you for transferring marital joint property. Su Qiao put away the divorce certificate and sneered. Heh, I'm talking nonsense. Fine, then don't go. I'm going to cut Lu Hong's hair right now and take it with me for a DNA test to see who exactly is lying. After saying that, he was about to borrow a knife from the renovation worker to cut Lu Hong's hair. Fan Zimei already had a guilty conscience, so how could she dare let Su Qiao cut Lu Hong's hair? Taking advantage of the moment when Su Qiao went to get the scissors, she bent down, picked up little Lu Hong, and quickly ran out of the villa, then turned back and pointed at Su Qiao as she cursed. You ungrateful bastard. Our Lu family fed and supported you for 6 years, and you actually dared to conceal marital joint property and secretly buy a villa. We definitely won't let you off. Amid the crowd's pointing fingers and comments, she fled the scene like a stray dog in panic. Seeing Fan Zimei run away, Su Qiao gave a chuckle. If you've got the guts, then don't run. So you do have a guilty conscience after all. After scaring off Fan Zimei, Su Qiao continued arranging the renovation matters before returning to the rental apartment. Sitting on the sofa and thinking about how shameless the Lu family was. Although he had no time to deal with them for now, they kept clinging to him like stray dogs, delaying his collection of supplies. And that wasn't a solution either. Besides, Lu Yue's lover Yang Hong was also a major threat. After all, I already know about his affair with Lu Yue, and as someone in officialdom, he definitely wouldn't let me off. It was even possible that, driven to desperation, he'd try to silence me. Yang Hong had to be brought down as soon as possible. I don't have time to drag this out with him, so I'll hire a private detective. He searched online and found a private detective with a good reputation. He called and arranged to meet him at 2:30 in the afternoon. After arranging how to deal with Yang Hong, Su Qiao then started planning how to collect supplies again. He still had a bit over 20 million yuan on him. First, he'd find a few large warehouses and stockpile some supplies. The warehouses had to be secluded to avoid being discovered. He searched online again and found several warehouses for rent, each with an area of several thousand square meters. He called the other party to ask about the situation. I need to go take a look on site. If it's suitable, I'll rent it today, he muttered to himself. As soon as he decided, he picked up his bag, walked outside the residential complex, and prepared to take a taxi to the warehouses he had just looked at. Just then, the phone suddenly rang. He took it out and saw that it was his office director, Hao Tianyu, calling. Let me ask you, Xiao Su, what time is it already? Why the hell aren't you at work yet? Do you still want this job or not? As soon as the call connected, Hao Tianyu roared over the phone. Su Qiao frowned. That bastard Hao Tianyu wasn't any good either. For all these years, he had kept Su Qiao completely under his heel. Even though at work Su Qiao had always been diligent and conscientious, creating enormous benefits for the company and doing the hardest, most exhausting work. And what was the result? All the credit was snatched away by Hao Tianyu. In his previous life, Su Qiao still couldn't understand why. Despite his strong performance and excellent work ethic, the company never promoted him. Now he finally figured it out. It was probably Yang Hong, Lu Yue's lover, who instructed the then office director and current deputy general manager of the energy company, Shikuan, not to promote him. And this Hao Tianyu was Shikuan's lackey. Humph, when the apocalypse comes, if you two scumbags don't starve or freeze to death, I'll personally finish you off. Su Qiao thought to himself that with only 2 months left until the apocalypse, he no longer needed to go to work. The most important task now was to gather enough supplies as quickly as possible. Hao Tianyu, you'd better clean up your mouth, or I won't be polite to you. I just don't want to work anymore, so what are you going to do about it? After saying that, he hung up on Hao Tianyu. He had no time to waste words with that bastard. Cursing him out to vent a little was enough. Everything else could wait until the apocalypse. On the other end of the phone, seeing that the usually honest and timid Su Qiao actually dared to curse him, and even threaten him, Hao Tianyu got so angry that he slammed the table. He violently threw down the telephone and cursed. Damn it, Su Qiao, you bastard, just you wait. Just see how I'm going to deal with you. If you dare mess with me, I'll make you pay a price you can't bear. What he didn't notice was that Jiang Yao, who was sitting behind him, was secretly startled when she heard his words. She quickly and secretly sent Su Qiao a WeChat message. Brother Qiao, be careful. Hao Tianyu just said in the office that he's going to go after you. Su Qiao, who was waiting for a ride at the entrance of the residential compound, received his female apprentice's message and felt a warmth in his heart. He replied to her, Okay, Yao Yao, help me keep an eye on him, and on Shikuan too. Those two are in cahoots. Okay, Brother Qiao. After Jiang Yao replied, she immediately deleted the chat history. She had already learned last night that Su Qiao had made 220 million, so naturally he no longer needed to go to work. She felt very down. Over the past year, she and Su Qiao had worked together seamlessly, and he had left a deep imprint on her heart. She had originally planned to resign too, But now that she knew how Tianyu intended to make things difficult for Su Qiao, she could not resign. Moreover, the company's deputy general manager Shi Kuan had a very close relationship with Lu Yuwei's lover Yang Hong, so they would very likely be plotting something as well. During this period, she needed to watch their movements and tell brother Qiao as soon as there was any news to keep him from being put in a passive position. After replying to Zhang Yao's message, Su Qiao looked up and noticed two young people at the entrance of the residential compound glance at him before quickly leaving. These two seemed to be keeping watch. Watching whom? Watching me. He memorized their appearances and didn't bother with them for the time being. After a while, the booked car arrived, and he got in to go look at those warehouses. Meanwhile, Fan Zime came panting as she jogged home from Villa Number 1. As soon as she entered, she saw old Lu teasing his bird there, and her anger flared up instantly. Putting down little Lu Hong, she slapped Lu Tianhai on the arm with a smack. She shouted angrily, "Such a huge thing has happened at home, and you still have the mood to stand here playing with birds." Old Lu, suddenly struck by his wife, was completely baffled. He glared at the old woman irritably. "Hey, you crazy woman, did you take the wrong medicine today? Why the hell did you hit me for no reason? Isn't it just that Xiaowei divorce that cuckolded Su Qiao? What's the big deal? Xiaowei is with District Chief Yang Hong now, so won't we be living the good life from now on too?" Lu Tianhai had gone out of the residential compound early to walk his bird, so naturally he still didn't know that Su Qiao had already bought a big villa. No wonder he was unaware. You, all day long, only know how to play with your bird, and you don't even worry about major matters. Fan Zime angrily slapped Lu Tianhai again for being so useless, then continued, "Do you know? That loser Su Qiao divorced Xiaowei yesterday morning, and in the afternoon he went and bought a 40 million villa, building number 1 in our neighborhood." When Lu Tianhai heard this, his eyes went wide. Has this old woman gone crazy? What on earth is she talking about? He couldn't believe it and asked in shock, "Bought what? Say that again." After all, that loser Su Qiao handed over his salary every month, and yesterday when they divorced, he left with nothing, let alone buying a 40 million villa. He didn't even have the money to rent a 4,000 yuan apartment. That loser Su Qiao bought a 40 million villa. Did you hear me clearly? Fan Zime said loudly, enunciating every single word. 40 million? Really? Old man Lu suddenly grabbed Fan Zime's arm, his eyes still full of disbelief. "It's true. Absolutely true. I just went and saw it," Fan Zime said through gritted teeth. She pulled Lu Tianhai onto the sofa and recounted in detail everything that happened when she went to the villa to confront Su Qiao that morning. "If we'd known he was this rich, we should never have let Xiaowei divorce him. Xiaowei is damn foolish." After hearing his wife out, old man Lu confirmed the truth of the news and slapped the table in endless regret. Fan Zime rolled her eyes and thought, "Damn it, you're cursing Xiaowei, so why drag her mother into it too? Was I the one who made her get divorced? If I had known that bastard would buy a big villa, there's no way I would have allowed them to divorce." Lu Tianhai thought for a moment, then suddenly realized something and muttered, "No, how could this loser suddenly have so much money? No matter how capable he is, there's no way he could have made that much money in a single afternoon, right? This must still be money from during the marriage. He just hid it away. Who would have thought that damn cuckold had hidden it so well and fooled our whole family?" Fan Zime nodded repeatedly as well and said excitedly, "Yes, this definitely counts as marital property. He must have earned the money while he was married to Xiaowei, and that loser deliberately concealed it. It's our money, and we have to get it back." She thought to herself, "That's 40 million. That damn Su Qiao actually dared to swallow up our Lu family's money with no conscience at all. Is he even human? He's worse than an animal." In her heart, she cursed Su Qiao's ancestors all the way back, sighing again and again that this loser was truly too immoral. "This morning when you went to that bastard to ask for the house, he wouldn't give it to you?" Lu Tianhai's eyes gleamed sharply. It was clearly at odds with the look expected at his age, as if he'd been given a stimulant. "That's right, and that little bastard even humiliated me to my face. He even wanted to cut Lu Hong's hair for a paternity test. Luckily, I reacted fast and ran off first with Lu Hong in my arms." Fan Zime patted her chest and continued, "We absolutely can't admit now that Lu Yang and Lu Hong aren't that loser's children. That way the two kids can also get a share of the property." Thinking how quickly her mind had worked at the time, and how she hadn't let Su Qiao cut Lu Hong's hair, she felt somewhat smug. Lu Tianhai quickly gave his wife a thumbs up and praised her. "You did the right thing. Now that Su Qiao has 40 million, maybe even more, whether or not these two children are his sons, they are his sons. Once we get the money, we'll think of a way to ditch that damn cuckold." Fan Zime nodded and reminded him, We're both old now and don't have much strength on our own. We'd better quickly call Yue, Yuzhen, and Xiaohua back and hold a family meeting to figure out how to get our 40 million back. Okay, let's split up and make the calls. Old man Lu said with great excitement, echoing her.